Carlos Marmol has looked very impressive, allowing just 2 base runners through the first 3 innings. Talking about Scott Williamson, I guess he's now part of the Major League logo.
He may be on the DL, but he's with the team in spirit. That's in that third base dugout. One of his teammates taped his picture up over the logo.
Got to get something going here against Eric Milton. Pierre Walker and Barrett, the top of the order, coming up. Check swing. He went too far, according to Angel Hernandez. Kick and the pitch. Pierre strikes out swinging.
Carlos Marmol to end the third inning. The strikeout of Felipe Lopez looked like a straight changeup. We speculated as to whether he would use that as his third pitch in this ball game. Tremendous movement. 86-mile-an-hour changeup. And Juan Pierre chasing a slider just off the outside corner there. You can see his body was already starting to lean toward first base. That's kind of his MO. Slap that ball to the left side, try to beat it out, but that time couldn't make contact.
Walker robbed of a hit, and a nice catch by Austin Kearns in the first inning. Closest the Cubs have come to getting a hit. Well, Eric Milton has a tattoo of every team he's ever played for, going back to the University of Maryland as a Yankee, Twin, Philly, and a Reds tattoo. Came up through the Yankees organization. Rainbow to right. Made his big league debut with the Twins in '98. Top of the hour. Let's pause for station ID. Cubs trying to end the WGN losing streak going back to late April. Way too many losses here on WGN. No score here in the 4th inning. Michael Barrett broke the tie last night with a grand slam home run. I wonder if Mike Morgan ever considered that tattoo idea. He would have been we would have had 90% of his body covered in tattoos if he had done what Eric Milton has done.
Or Gaylord Perry, another guy that seemingly played for every team in the major leagues. They'd be the illustrated men.
Lined right at the shortstop, Felipe Lopez. The Cubs have not made Eric Milton work from the stretch to this point. Time now to have a ball with the Illinois Lottery. Great to see Joe Nuxall back out here at the ballpark. Still a part-time broadcaster with the Reds. And the former Cincinnati Reds left-hander was out here last night as they celebrated his major league debut as a 15-year-old in 1944. So the old left-hander out here rounding third and heading for home. And our old left-hander, he's not that old, but Dave Otto filling in for Ron Santo on the radio. Ron expected to be back in the radio booth at home on Tuesday. Ron, we can't wait to see you back at Wrigley.
So we talked about Nuxall's first game in the major leagues as a 15-year-old, and I wondered how he got to the ballpark. And actually got to talk to Joe before the game today, and indeed he did take a bus to the ballpark for his first major league game. Told me a story that later in that same season he borrowed a friend's car and drove to the ballpark and got pulled over by the Cincinnati police. Didn't have a driver's license, but the officer recognized who he was and let him off with a warning.
Shift on against Griffey, who is grounded to second on several occasions in this series. I wonder if there'll ever be a guy who pulls the ball so much you put all 4 infielders on one side. Swing and a miss. Didn't matter that time as Marmol strikes out a future Hall of Famer. The Cubs play the Astros this Thursday, June 14th. And the first 20,000 fans will receive a scratch and win card. 100 random winners will receive an authentic autographed Easton Aramis Ramirez baseball bat, compliments of Pepsi. Fans are encouraged to hold on to their cards for second chance drawings, and for complete rules visit Cubs.com. That'll be Wednesday, which is June 14th, and we'll have that one right here on WGN. Dunn went around.
Well, by Wednesday, we'll be in the midst of a winning streak on WGN.
That's right. In the dirt.
You know, one thing about that shift that we saw for Ken Griffey Jr. and now again for Adam Dunn, if there is a strikeout, that's a long throw for Michael Barrett. He whips it out there to Nathy Perez, who's playing deep shortstop.
Yeah, normally from a box score and the written play-by-play, you get a pretty good idea of what happened. But if you read tomorrow that a guy grounded out to short, it's possible he hit it where the second baseman normally would be. Dunn walks with one out. 6th time he has reached on a walk in this series. You and I have talked a lot about Adam Dunn on and off the air. And the thing I really like about him, not only the power, but the fact that even though he has a low batting average, he still helps his team by getting on base a lot. He has 1 hit in this series. But he's reached 7 times because he's walked 6 times. And I think some people, Reds fans here, want to see him drive the ball a little bit more with runners in scoring position. He has 19 home runs and only 36 RBIs. But that's a fine line when you try to tell a guy to swing at more pitches. I think one of the reasons he's here at this level is because of his patience.
And because of that patience, he does take a lot of called third strikes. And I think that's what frustrates the Reds fans. They want to see the big guy swing the bat. Even if he makes outs, they would rather see him hit long fly balls to the outfield than stand at the plate with the bat on his shoulder.
Chris Chambliss is the Reds hitting coach.
I think if you have a guy like Adam Dunn in your lineup, that's fine. You can't have 2 or 3 guys like Adam Dunn in your lineup. I don't feel you need to have some aggressive hitters that are willing to occasionally chase a bad pitch to try to drive home a run.
4th strikeout for Marmol. They've all been swinging.
This one on a curveball. Good tight rotation. It's not a big sweeping curve like you see Sean Marshall throw or some other pitchers. The big sweeper that they start right at the hitter, break it down and across the plate. It's a very tight, sharp, late breaking curveball.
Faces Scott Hatteberg, another guy who will take pitches. 1-0. Game 10 of this season series. Cubs have won 5 of the first 9 against a team that is currently 10 games over 500. The Cubs like playing against their own division. 17-14 against the Central, 4-8 against the East. 3-12 versus the West, and 1-2 against the American League. That means the White Sox. Todd Walker will flip it over to Phil Nevin. Marmol still looking very good. No score. Now, interesting to note, especially with the guy who gives up home runs. The first 53 games this year, the Cubs hit 18 home runs with a runner on base. The last 8, they've done it 4 times. So that's either a 2, 3, or 4-run homer. They saw the grand slam last night.
With that being the first base runner in this game for the Cubs, it'll be interesting to see how Milton adjusts now to throwing out of the stretch. He hasn't had to do it since he warmed up in the bullpen before the game.
Goes with a slide step through the whole right side. 1st and 2nd. So Jones getting a base hit off a former Twin teammate, Eric Milton. Here's Ronnie. Came in hitting .333 on the trip. Here are the Cub fans getting going here in the 5th inning.
A very subdued crowd up to this point. Of course, there hasn't been a whole heck of a lot to cheer about, but Cubs fans are making their presence felt here with an offensive rally.
Long look at Merton. Now the pitch, and Cedeno with a base hit to left. Mert's going to come around, try to score. Here's a throw from Adam Dunn. Cubs lead 1-0. Throw gets away from the catcher, and both runners move up. Jones to third, Cedeno to second. Single and an RBI for Ronnie. An error on Dunn on the throw to allow the runners to move up. 56 errors for the Reds on the year.